I'm going to be very blunt with you guys in today's broadcast. We are headed into a very scary place, not just here in the United States of America, but all over the globe. If you are a free thinker, if you believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, you want freedom, you want to have the right to make your own choices, to vote your own candidates in, then you are the person under attack right now over in the UK, Great Britain, and countries abroad. They are literally silencing people for what they are posting on their social media accounts. Countless numbers of people have already been arrested internationally for that. And I can't even believe what I'm going to tell you today. As you guys know, and I'm livid, but as you guys know, Donald Trump had the interview yesterday, Monday, August 12th, with Elon Musk. And just before they went on air, a couple of things happened, right? One of those is Elon Musk got threatened by the European Commissioner, Thierry Breton, who comes out and says, hey, you better not post that interview on your X page of you and Donald J. Trump, the former president of the United States, because, you know, it can contain harmful content that incites things to happen in our country. Donald Trump, A, has never incited or called for violence, regardless of what the mainstream media says. It's just not true. And B, who the hell are they? Right? But that wasn't even the half of it. A Washington Post article, as you're going to see throughout this report, it was a Washington Post journalist came out and asked Karine Jean-Pierre and the Biden administration why they're not stopping the interview of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. First thing about that is, who the hell is this guy to demand that the Biden administration do this? And why does he even feel like that's okay to ask? And the answer is because we're not living under a free country. We're living in straight up tyranny that's run kind of under the radar, if you will, by a lot of these three-letter agencies, right? Calling the shots. That's why he had the audacity to come out and say stuff like that. But the truth is, right now over in the United Kingdom, there are arrests being made for something that is just a social media post. This should, and by the way, I'm going to get into it towards the end of this report. This is already in the United States of America. I think it was David Mackey is his name, the meme poster, went to jail for posting a meme about Hillary Clinton. But take a look here. This is on Fox News. UK government scouring social media to arrest people for sharing harmful riot footage, regardless of the intent. Regardless of the intent. Take a listen to what the Director of Public Prosecutions of England and Wales had to say.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification arrests and so forth. So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
Consequences will be visited upon you, even if you don't even know you're doing anything wrong. Wow, that sounds like straight up out of George Orwell's 1984. How dare you share information that they claim, whether or not it actually is. It might likely start some kind of racial hatred, and we're going to scour the social media and arrest all these people. They better make some room in the jail cells, or where are they going to put all these people? Right? This is insanity. This is one of the reasons, by the way, that I created restrictedrepublic.com. Please see me over there. This is an exclusive video site with Justice Knight and myself. In light of everything that is going on in the world, they want to shut us down. This is why we went behind a paywall. And right now, by the way, you can get it for $5 per month. Use the coupon code Lisa and the number 5. Good. That's less than a cup of coffee, less than a glass of beer. But please get there. I'm going to be doing half of this report today on Restricted Republic, but I'm going to still go on right now. So get there, sign up. You're going to want to see what is going on at Restricted Republic. It's just one of the ways that we can circumvent all the crap that is happening. But this guy is insane. Now, they're not yet doing that in the United States of America, but I can guarantee you it's coming. And they're already doing it at a level. In fact, I'm going to show you another clip from the British MET police man there. And his name is Mark Rowley. He is the head of the Met Police. Mark Rowley. Take a listen to what he had to say as well.
So we'll throw the full force of the law at offenders, whether that's charging people with assaults, violent disorder, riot, and if terrorism offences are appropriate, I know the Director of Public Prosecutions has said he's prepared to consider that. We will throw the full force of the law at people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you.
Talk to me about that, because we have seen some high-profile figures whipping up the hatred. You talked about it in there with the officers, in fact, about this being added to by online commentary. I mean, I'm even thinking of the likes of Elon Musk getting involved. What are you considering when it comes to dealing with people who are whipping up this kind of behaviour from behind a keyboard, maybe in a different country?
Being a keyboard warrior does not make you safe from the law. You can be guilty of offences of incitement, of stirring up racial hatred. There are numerous terrorist offences regarding the sort of publishing of material. All of those offences are in play if people are provoking hatred and violence on the streets, and we will come after those individuals just as we will physically confront on the streets the thugs and the obs who are causing the problems for communities.
You know how easy it would be to just say, oh, I don't like the likes of Lisa Haven. I believe she is doing this. It's limitless. If we think that you're doing, it doesn't mean that you have to actually be doing this. There's already rules and laws in place. If you're inciting violence, you gotta, that's a thing. If you're calling for violence against someone, there are laws in place. So what the hell is the point of this? Just in case we think is. Wow. And he made it very clear that they're going to go after you with the full force of the law. And what's crazy, right, is the reporter said, hey, what about the likes of Elon Musk? You know, whether they're in this country or not, how do we handle those? And he kind of hints at, yeah, we should, handle them the same. In fact, here's what already happened. Take a watch.
We have some breaking news now, and a woman has been arrested by Cheshire Police in relation to an inaccurate information on social media about the attacker in the Southport murders. It says a 55-year-old woman from near Chester was arrested earlier today, Thursday the 8th, of course, on suspicion of publishing written material to stir up racial hatred and false communications. She is currently being held in police custody.
Now, that was in Southport. How dare she say anything wrong on the internet? But because she had something wrong, they literally arrested this old woman. Now, Jonathan Turley put out a statement on a lot of what's going on there, and I think it's rather important, and here it is. JonathanTurley.org, London calling. Police chief threatens to arrest people around the world for online speech. He goes on to give examples of some of what has happened internationally, right? The decline of free speech in the United Kingdom has long been a concern for free speech advocates. A man was convicted for sending a tweet while drunk referring to dead soldiers. Another was arrested for an anti-police t-shirt. Another was arrested for calling the Irish boyfriend of his ex-girlfriend a leprechaun. Yet another was arrested for singing kung fu fighting. A teenager was arrested for protesting outside of a Scientology center with a sign calling the religion a cult. We also discussed the arrest of a woman who was praying to herself near an abortion clinic. English courts have seen criminalized toxic ideologies as part of the crackdown on free speech. The London police are now deputized to stop or arrest those engaged in speech deemed insightful or inflammatory. Last year, the police stopped a man from walking in the street because there were pro-Palestine protesters, and his presence would be insightful because he was quite openly Jewish. And it goes on to describe some of the laws that are prohibiting that. I'm not going to read through them. You can kind of pause that if you want to read, but these are kind of the laws that they have there. But he says the country has also targeted social media companies to force them to censor users for speech deemed threatening, abusive, or insulting the government. Look, we don't have, you don't have freedom of speech if you can't say stupid things as well as smart things. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech, because the question therein lies, who gets to determine what's smart and what's stupid, what's right and what's wrong? Cue all the weird arrests talked about in Jonathan Turley's letter here that I just highlighted. Kung fu fighting for real? How is that free at all? I may not agree with a lot of anything really that these people said. I don't have to agree with you. I may think it's stupid and dumb that you say it. I may even think it's racist or wrong. But just because you say something like that doesn't mean you get arrested. That's not, either free speech is all free or it's not free. There's already rules against violence. And as you guys know, I am avidly against any violence. But now over in the UK, you know what else is happening? They're teaching their kids, indoctrinating them on this. Here, this is on Fox News. Schools to teach how to spot fake news, misinformation after the UK riots. Schools in the UK will begin to teach students how to spot fake news and extremist content in the aftermath of riots that spread across the country last week. Schools across the UK will look to revamp their curriculum to help children identify and dismiss extremist content by embedding critical thinking lessons in subjects such as English and math. Shouldn't English curriculum be about English and math be about math? The only reason that you would embed stuff like this is because you want to propagandize and re-educate an entire mass of people. This is chilling. It's already happening here in the United States with these critical race theory that they're forcing into many of our schools. They really are. This is happening overseas, yeah. But we're seeing very similar things here in the U.S. Remember the MET head police officer who called for, the arrest of UK citizens in the video clip that I just showed you? Well, and basically Elon Musk. Well, take a look at The Guardian right here, right? Guardian says, here's an opinion by Jonathan Freeland on The Guardian. You know who else should be on trial for the UK's far-right riots? Elon Musk. Even though he didn't call for them, encourage any violence whatsoever, none of it. Oh, you should incite him because he wants free speech. Those at the top hate Elon Musk because he offered a bastion of freedom of speech on one platform that used to be controlled by them, and they're pissed about it. In fact, take a look at what this Washington Post journalist asks Karine Jean-Pierre, right? Little Miss thing. Take a listen.
Elon Musk is slated to interview Donald Trump tonight on X. I don't know if the president's going to. Feel free to say if he is or not. But I think that misinformation on Twitter is not just a campaign issue. It's an America issue. What role does the White House or the president have in sort of stopping that, or stopping the spread of that, or sort of intervening in that? Some of that was about campaign misinformation, but it's a wider thing, right?
Yeah, no.
Do you see how happy he is? Totally all on the same side. How come you can't stop this? Any sort of, way to stop that, stop the spread of that? What, an interview between Elon Musk and a presidential candidate? That's in the U.S. That's not in the UK, Great Britain. It's not internationally. It's right here in the good old-fashioned United States. And speaking of, here's the EU commissioner, Thierry Breton, harassing Elon Musk. Here's a letter that she put out. She goes, with great audience comes great responsibility, #DSA. As there is a risk of amplification of harmful content in connection with events with major audiences around the world. I sent this letter to Elon Musk. And I'm not going to read everything to you, but she basically says at the very top of this, I'm writing this, because of the recent events in the UK. I understand that you are currently doing a stress test of the platform. In this context, I am compelled to remind you of the due diligence obligations set out in the Digital Service Act, DCA, as outlined in my previous letter. As the individual entity ultimately controlling a platform with over 300 million users worldwide, of which 1/3 is in the EU, has been designated a very large platform, you have the legal obligation to ensure X's compliance with EU law, and in particular, the DSA in the EU. And by the way, I'm going to go back to the top of this letter because I want to show you. It says, "Dear Mr. Musk, I am writing to you in the context of recent events in the UK and in the relation to the planned broadcast on your platform X of a live conversation between you and a US presidential candidate and yourself." In other words, how dare you do an interview with Donald J. Trump, because it's going to spread misinformation and disinformation over in the EU. So let me be clear, Elon, you're violating our law, and there will come risks associated with that. That's basically it in a nutshell. And you can pause it and read the whole thing. But she threatens him, straight up threatens him. You better not have this. And if you do, there better be certain stuff in place, so to speak, but you better not do this interview because you're sharing misinformation. And we will not tolerate this fucking dictator. This is a dictator. Look at that. I don't even know how she happened to get 18,000 likes. This is insane. That's 18,000 people who are actually okay with straight up tyranny. There's a huge movement for that. By the way, it's because it's being taught in the schools and they're being propagandized, and we're losing the information war. That's why. Thank God more people are liking some of the other posts, right? But this is insane. Now, Elon Musk did respond, and he goes, "To be honest, I really wanted to respond with this Tropic Thunder meme, but I would never do such a thing so rude and irresponsible." And obviously he did. Take a big step back and literally your own face. He responds to Theory Breton or whatever. Screw her, him, whatever. I don't even know. Anyway, we are living in borrowed time here in the US. Now, for the rest of this broadcast, I am going to show you how a lot of this is happening in other places in the United States of America. I'm also going to show you some other stuff regarding leaked Democrat Zoom call that you're not going to want to miss, and it really proves totalitarianism. Now, in order to watch the rest of this, I'm going to encourage you, get to restrictedrepublic.com. Use the coupon code Lisa5, get it for $5. You are not going to want to miss this. I am going to be going over a lot of what is coming in the United States of America, and I'm putting it exclusive to that platform. It is a platform where Justice Knight and myself are at, and I want to encourage you to go there. It is exclusive to that platform, and you really need to hear it. So go there, sign up now, go to restrictedrepublic.com, and make sure you take advantage of Lisa5 to get it for $5 per month.com. Anyhow, I hope to see you over there.